consider myself a pretty large fan of the Beatles, and the song The Long and Winding Road has always been one that really strikes a chord with me. It's really just a beautiful song. By way of history, Paul wrote it in 1969, right at the end of the Beatles, as they were going through sort of their turmoil that led to them breaking up shortly thereafter. And The Long and Winding Road is Paul, in some ways, looking back on the span of the Beatles together. It also serves as a good metaphor for the trademark application process. As you can see from this visual, the path from forming a trademark to completing a registration has several stops along the way. First important stop is choosing a good trademark. You want it to be creative, original, unique in the industry. You want to search it to make sure that it's clear. Next, you file with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. Preparing and filing an application has its own set of procedures and rules, and there's a lot that goes into the strategy of the application. The application then gets reviewed by the USPTO, and you have to meet all of the requirements for approval. And that can sometimes be a back and forth with communications with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office examiner. Once the application is approved, it gets published in the public records. That's when there's the potential that an outside party could file an objection or request an extension. Finally, the road ends, or the road we're talking about here ends, with the trademark registration being granted and issued and a certificate being received by the applicant. This process is long and winding regardless of how long it takes. And really, regardless of how long it takes, the filing date is one of the most important periods along the way. The application process from filing to registration can take anywhere between 6 months and many years. On average, it takes about a year. But again, the important part is to start the process. Since the application process is such a long and winding road, I recommend that before you embark on it, you contact an experienced attorney, such as myself, to work with and advise and help navigate you through those turns and obstacles along the way.